You've tuned into the Bellingham Podcast for the week of May 19, 2019. This is episode 118. From that city of subdued excitement, I am AJ Barce.
And straight out of 98226, I am Chris Powell. On this episode, Chavela Vargas, a famous Mexican singer, once said, "You're going to be happy, said life, but first I'll make you strong." Our continuing Word of Note series takes this inspiring quote and runs with it as AJ and I unpack ways to become more aware of our inner strengths, harness our abilities, and unleashing it on the world. Come join the conversation. It's going to be fun. You're listening to the Bellingham Podcast.
Welcome to the Word of Note Series 2. How you doing, Chris?
Not bad. How about yourself, AJ?
Thank goodness it's Friday, dude.
Indeed. As we're recording this, can you hear everyone, at least in Bellingham Podcast land? Yes, what a week it's been. Hey, before we get started on the main topic, I want to take over for a little bit.
Yeah.
I had a memorable experience this week with my wife, and I want to share it with you wonderful listeners out there and actually with you.
Yeah.
So back in episode 114, we were able to interview Hans from the Lighthouse Mission, Executive Director Extraordinaire.
Hey, Hans.
Hi, Hans. And one of the aspects of the Lighthouse Mission Ministries here in Bellingham that they offer their guests is a New Life program. Now, this New Life program is a year-long discipleship and recovery program. There are men who typically come with deep wounds from the past, which had led to addictive behaviors and unhealthy relationships. These men are immersed in community living, which includes service to their peers around the mission. So they're serving other guests, which is rather important. They have to attend 10 classes a week. They receive counseling, which, hold that thought, and Bible-based reading and homework. All this is done with an intentional community with each man connected with a local church here in town, which is rather admirable. This New Life program helps these men find healing from the wounds of the past and helps them reconcile with the people they care about. This week, my wife and I attended a graduation ceremony for 4 men who completed the New Life program.
Oh, cool.
I want to let you know that if you boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not finding much hope and much inspiration in your weekly walk in between shows of ours, go check out the Lighthouse Mission and see what they got going on, because, ladies and gentlemen, I was so inspired by listening to these 4 men tell their stories of where they were, what happened, and how they got to where they are right now. It was emotional, it was heartfelt, it was genuine, and it was amazingly hopeful as we approach the rest of this year. So to Robert, Jess, Dave, and Daryl, the 2019 New Life Program graduates, this is a Bellingham Podcast official tip of the hat to all the great work you did. You can't see us tipping our hats.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's hard for radio, dude.
If we had hats, we'd be wearing them right now. But much respect, much congratulations on the fine work y'all did.
See, I was going to say, I raised my coffee cup to them because at least we can.
And
that
yes,
that works on radio, not tipping hats. We can't do that.
Well,
Chris.
but you get the point, guys.
Yeah,
anyway,
no, seriously, props, guys.
Congratulations. So, I wanted to make mention of that. Lighthouse Mission Ministries doing great work here in Whatcom County. Let's get to the topic at hand. AJ.
So, speaking of hope and happiness, our Word of Note series is revolving around that.
Yes.
And we are picking a word from Japan. So we've done one before, Kaizen. Which was
continuous improvement.
Continuous improvement. And I continuously should have looked at what episode that was. I'll put it in the show notes.
Drink.
And for this one...
I say. What's the Japanese word for kampai?
Kampai.
There you go.
So anyway, we're going to be looking at a word that originated apparently from Okinawa this go around. It is Ikigai.
So Ikigai. For those of you in America, you can pronounce it Iki or Icky Guy.
That's not how you say it. It's like Iki. Like if you're trying to say like Pikachu, it's Ikigai.
Very good. So anyway, and what does this Ikigai involve?
It's a compound word. So if you look at the first Iki, that's life. And Gai, Gai, is purpose. So it's life, purpose.
All right. And actually, even though this is not part of the Word of Notes series, in France, they also have a way to describe Ikigai. It's raison d'etre. What do you do? What is your reason for being, right?
Yeah.
So
wine and cheese, apparently. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway.
Fair enough. Anyway, hello, France.
Hi, France.
Anyway.
I miss you.
Bonjour. Anyway. with Ikigai, this is a concept that kind of, when you boil it down, it's like, why do you get up in the morning? Yeah. What is your reason for hitting the ground running during the day? Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, like, we should ask ourselves, first of all, what is our reason for getting up out of bed and doing what we do during the day?
Mm-hmm. So for me, the reason why we're bringing this one up is because of the state of affairs that's going around the world right now.
Everywhere.
It can be hard to get up in the morning, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. You really want to hit that snooze dial or power off that mobile phone that's your alarm.
Yeah, I might have done both this morning and showed up to work late. But anyway, no, the thing is that the way that we're going to, as we normally do in the Bellingham Podcast, we're going to take this and kind of shift it in a way that kind of helps you reflect and kind of think about what your life purpose is. No, Chris and I are not saying that you need to be a digital nomad and go tour around the world unless that's what you want to do.
That would be fun, but that's not really realistic.
That's not realistic. We want to bring an element of realism of how you can just kind of look at what's going on in your life and kind of find that little supplemental of joy, so that if you have an 8-hour day and it feels like it's 8 hours of gruelingness, instead of looking at it that way, kind of shift your mindset a little bit. Because if you have a little bit of Ikigai, you know what you're driving towards.
Yes.
As opposed to it just being a grind. We hear that a lot, right?
Mm-hmm. It's
just the daily grind. You don't have to grind things out if you have just a little glimmer of a purpose. So for me, it's 5 o'clock. Or actually, well, it's not right now, but usually there's two things that go on in my week that is kind of like my Ikigai. One is Fridays when we record.
Yes.
This is definitely something I look forward to
There's
every
a source
week.
of enjoyment that we're exexperiencing by recording 118 episodes. Count them. Yes.
Drink.
Yeah.
But the other thing is at 5. So usually at 5 o'clock we're either recording, or the other 4 days out of the week. For me, I get to clock off, go home, get a hug from my wife. And then I get to play cards with my kiddo and marbles. Cars and marbles are the thing right now.
Cars and marbles. That's a great name for a death metal group.
Cha-cha-cha.
There you go.
But no, the thing is what my son continuously reminds me of is, literally, he is in cars and marbles mode. Everything in life is cars and marbles. Anything that rolls, really. But,
yes, it does.
But here's the thing is, he finds infinite joy, and I mean infinite hours of infinite joy on, Matchbox and Hot Wheels cars and marbles.
Yep.
And seeing him with that level of joy allows me to get through my week.
And you wouldn't have it any other way.
Nope. What about you, Chris?
So I did a little bit thinking about this as we are preparing for this recording, and simply put, my reason for getting up in the morning is that I want to help provide a comfortable life for my beautiful wife and daughter. And that involves going to work, earning my paycheck, and heading home so I could be available to them should they want to hang out with me.
I would hope they'd like to hang out with you. Chris's wife, hang out with Chris.
Yes, Chris's daughter, hang out with Chris some more. Anyway, so that's kind of what we are driven by our work. We want to have a better life. But with Ikigai, there are a couple. There's a couple books, a number of articles, in a video that we'll be making mention of. But as we were doing a little bit of research on this topic, there's a book called Blue Zones. Yeah. We have a link to it in the show notes.
Drink.
Kampai, in which the essence of this book is to make 3 lists. What are your values? That's easy to do. I might take a little bit of thought.
I was going to say it may not be easy to start, because you kind of redefine what your value is. That's what I've discovered when I've done this type of exercise.
This is not an easily tweetable answer.
Thank you.
Yes. What are the things you like to do? That should be easy to come up with.
That totally.
And then what are the things you are good at?
That's going to take some time.
Whatever is at the center of these 3 circles, your values, what you like to do, and what you're good at, that, dear friends, is your Ikigai. And so that is something that should be a primary focus in your life. Mm-hmm. Sure, you may be making money in an occupation that you may not have as a calling. Yeah. But if you can find a way to be able to make that center of the 3-circle Venn diagram, if you will, that's what's going to get you propelled into a higher level of happiness, at least where we're concerned.
So, and along those same veins, if you think about Confucius, right? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
And like Ted Nugent said back in an interview that I caught on a video, I work and work all day, but lucky me, my work's my play.
And also Buffett also said it's 5:00 somewhere.
Absolutely, yes. Now that we got the trifecta of quotes from pop culture, is Confucius pop culture?
Confucius totally pop culture.
That could work too, yes.
With a stash like that.
Yes.
But no, like the thing is again, like trying to kind of realize that it can be very grueling and it doesn't need to drag you down. Like
Sure.
you can find elements that will kind of elevate you. And that's what we're trying to highlight. So yeah, no, I love Blue Zones. That's killer.
So let's take it one aspect further. What do you love now outside of our family?
Yes.
What is your passion?
Yeah, and I'm going to say lowercase p on passion, not
Yes.
like passion, but what is your passion? What
Exactly.
drives you to do things?
Because this is a Safe for Work podcast. We're not going to talk about the capital P passion.
That too, but no, but that word's been thrown around a lot in pop culture lately. Like, oh, follow your passion, but that leads to I kind of feel like I'm going to throw Instagram under the bus.
Please do.
Capital P passion is being overused on like Instagram social media. Like that's why I use the joke of the digital nomad, like follow your passions and you'll be great in life. But no.
Yeah, take the hashtag and throw it in the recycle bin.
Exactly. We're saying a realistic passion.
So AJ, if I know you well, and I believe I
hope
do
so.
somewhat, your passion I would estimate would be making things, whether it's a photograph
Yep.
or a thing with wood.
Yep.
Or a watch timepiece, or something with a 3D printer.
Or that too, yeah.
So
Tinker.
For me,
Yes.
you would say my passion is?
Oh, definitely either like a combination of education and optimization.
Wow. Well, that's cool.
I'm going to say it so minimal so that I can abide by the fact that you don't have any vowels.
That's
But no,
right.
Education optimization, dude. Like if you boil down everything, that's what I would say you do.
So as you're listening to this, and you may be at a red light, stoplight in traffic, think about what is your passion? What are you passionate about?
Yeah.
Also, here's a question that involves the things you like to do, but what does the world need?
A hug?
It's not love, sweet love. What the world needs now. I like to buy the world a Coke. No. And that's an 80s reference for you millennials out there.
I know that reference.
You're not a millennial.
Oh, valid.
So what does the world need? That could also be viewed as a mission. What would be a mission for you? For me, I believe the world needs a little bit more knowledge involving technology foundations so that we can get more familiar with the devices that we use on a amazingly frequent basis. And if I can help, my mission is to try to educate people to try to get them to that level where they're not getting stressed out.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your mission in life?
Other than to be happy and to listen to us maybe on KMRE 102.3 FM.
Community powered and also streaming at kmre.org.
See, that was a better tie-in.
We're getting a little more flow on that. Anyway, my mission is more. It kind of falls more in the vein of when I'm tinkering with photography. Like it's for me. Sing along if you've heard me do this time and time again. I think when it comes to memories and story, and that is the curation of our life through a sequence of events, being able to present that so that a future generation can appreciate that and learn from it. That's what I bring with my photography. And time, like I'm a time tinkerer. Sure.
That's my mission. Everything that I do, whether it's this podcast, photography, playing cars with my son.
Yes.
Everything is for me. I value time, and I make my mission, anything that I do, a fundamental net positive towards that.
There you go. Sounds well said. And so another thought to consider is, what are you good at? Now, we had talked about this, the things you like to do and things you're good at.
Yeah.
This one, I think, would be what's your vocation?
Yes.
Where are you working? If you're good at something, you'd probably be working at it.
Yes.
So we're technologists by trade. We
So
get paid being technologists. You get paid being a photographer.
Yeah, and you get paid being a tech coach.
Yes. And so that is something that you're good at, but the true
it's separate from the mission, if you notice. Like it contributes to it, but it is, we get really, in America, we really get hung up on how we define ourselves by our work.
Yes.
And except for like perhaps you and I, like, yes, we say that we're technologists, but we're also X, Y, and Z. We're much more than that.
Yes.
And by looking at Ikigai, maybe if you're listening to us, if you get one thing out of this, notice that mission and vocation are two separate parts of this Venn diagram, because you don't have to be defined by the mission that you want to serve or the vocation that you are currently serving in. They can be two different things.
Yeah, I'm really good at going into a device with a screen and fixing it.
Yeah.
Teaching someone that ability is a completely different set of skills. Yeah. And one would be the mission, one's a vocation. But the last one, which kind of relates to vocation, if you can get to a place that you can be paid for something you are good at, that would be a profession.
Right.
And so whether or not you are one of these amazing people in customer service, whether it be in a restaurant or in a beverage establishment or in a retail joint or in a business of some sorts, if you are able to find something that you're good at, that you love, that you are going to get paid for it, now you just got the brass ring.
Yep.
And really should be driving towards that. There's a should. I probably shouldn't be using that, but it would be great to aspire to.
Right. But again, like if you feel like you're in a grinder, like if you look at, passion, mission, vocation, and profession, even in your 8-hour day, if you can find something that fulfills you in that mission, that fulfills you in that passion, obviously the vocation, hopefully you're in a position that is a part of what you're trying to do.
Sure.
And professionally, you're getting paid for it. You may have 8 hours of the day, but if there is a 30-minute window where you can do something that hits on this, that's the fulfillment that we're trying to hopefully help people find.
And I'm also going to take going to vouch for or speak for those who may be caretakers, and they don't do a typical 8-hour day, clock in, clock out, hit happy hour. There are caretakers out there that will put 10, 12 hours, whether it be a young kiddo or it could be one of our elders that deserves all of our respect and care. If you are able to be in this position, if you love what you're doing, you automatically vault ahead all of us that are trying to get to that level.
Yeah.
And good on you. But if you're not there, if you're working in a place, quote unquote, dead end job, and, let's not really get into the negative right now because this is a show about positivity. Yeah. To be able to continue to pay the bills, to not incur the credit card debt by, striking out on your own. But if you can take time, if you could find time,
there's my mission.
That's a mission. Yeah. To find the time to be able to get to a place where you're able to get paid for doing something that can make the world better, that you love doing. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So
making Benjamin's rain is not part. I noticed that there's no we didn't talk about money anywhere really in here. We talked about time and happiness and purpose, but you notice that money is kind of not.
Well, for us, it may not be as much of a priority. However, there may be others who money is a driving force.
I guess what I'm going at is money doesn't necessarily buy you happiness nor Ikigai.
I would tend to agree with that, but that is up for everyone.
That's up to interpretation.
That's right. It's
Shogunai.
You got it. So there's another book out there that we have a link to in our show notes.
Drink.
Called Ikigai: The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life. Well, there you go.
Huh.
It's now. There are a couple tips within this book that we'll talk about, and there's a couple relations that we can tie into life in Bellingham, life in Whatcom County,
life in the Pacific Northwest,
and PNW style. But the first one that was on this list: stay active and don't retire. Interesting. Yeah.
If you read between the lines, notice they said stay active and don't retire. They didn't say stay working. And don't retire.
Right.
And I think there's a big difference here because, and we've said this in other shows where, typically in America, we don't take as much vacation as we ought to. Staying active, again, kind of comes back to that passion and mission side of Ikigai, right?
Yes.
Take the time to do things, be active in things that brings you joy.
Yep. Along the lines of staying active, here's a caveat to that, or a little bit more of a framing. Leave the urgency behind and adopt a slower pace of life. Have you tuned in the last previous episodes? One of the last 117? Yeah, we were talking about this ad nauseum, depending on if you're appreciative listener or a
hop
tolerant.
in, hop out, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But a slower pace of life. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this in a previous show, but I probably will repeat it. When I take over this world, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to outlaw the word urgent.
Yes.
And I'm going to outlaw the anagram ASAP
as
soon as possible, because those are two words that need to get immediately removed from our lexicon.
When you take the Iron Throne, I am your hand of the king. I will execute that to the best of my abilities. I shall swing the sword.
For those of you who may be listening to us during the week, you will have known who gets on the Iron Throne in the series finale.
It'll be Chris Powell.
It's going to be me. Yeah. Spoiler alert, it's me. So
King of the North.
King of the Northwest.
King of the Northwest.
All right.
You heard it here, folks. Hashtag King of the Northwest.
Moving on.
The Northwest never forgets.
Another idea from the book from 2017, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life. Only eat until you're 80% full. Now, I had talked about this version. Satiation, but there's a Japanese term called harahachibu.
Yeah.
I thought this is a great name. Oh, by the way, tech fans, it's also a pretty good start to a password. Harahachibu. You add a couple hyphens in there, you got yourself a good old 13, 14 character password.
You had to slide that in.
I had to.
Yeah, drift it in.
Because, I throw technology in everything.
Love it.
So anyway, we are all about, I'm not going to say the name of the company, but fill in the blank sized portions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That place that you go to get the 5-gallon drum of mayonnaise and the 4-ton weight rotisserie chicken. Yeah. You don't have to eat all that. Sometimes a lighter portion can also help with your waistline, your mind. If you're not overly full, you might be able to focus on other things as well. Got a couple other instances as well.
Yeah. So surrounding yourself with good friends. I mean, birds of the feather flock together.
Yep.
Especially if you are trying to find positivity, being around a whole bunch of Eeyores may not do it for you. But by the same token, you don't want to be around a whole bunch of Tiggers sometimes. Sorry, I've been reading Winnie the Pooh, if you can't guess.
I can tell.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
There's a lot of wisdom in Pooh. I believe there's the Tao of Pooh that you can...
How about the Tao of Winnie?
The Tao of Winnie.
Let's call it, because the Tao of Pooh, let's keep it clean.
All right, fair enough. But anyway, you are who you associate with. And yeah, you got your drinking buds. You got your smoking buds, depending on what you invite. No pun intended.
Yeah.
But to be around people that lift you up and don't knock you down, that's a great way to get happier. It's kind of like everything I learned in kindergarten.
Yeah.
Be around people who are nice, and that could be a good thing. And if you don't have a lot of nice friends, hey, contact us. Fill out a form. AJ and Chris will be happy to be your friends. We're nice.
Yeah, especially if there's coffee involved.
Or tea or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and this one, which was another point of the book that it's got a little bit of a spin to it. Get in shape through daily gentle exercise. So this kind of throws out the box for those of you that are CrossFit aficionados. This throws the box under the bus. Walks on our beautiful trails and along our water and in the mountain.
Kaizen, continuous improvement.
But gentle.
Yes.
Since when does America do anything gently? That's a topic for consideration. To be able to exercise your body gently. I like that. To be able to nurture your friendships with other people gently. Yeah, to pay your taxes gently. You never know.
But also, I would also say mentally, like to stay sharp. Not, again, going back to what you said, not being idle.
Mm-hmm.
If you've always, the thing about this that I think getting in shape, period, like financial shape, mental shape, physical shape. That is what this line kind of attributes to.
Yes.
Not wallowing in the fact of like you're $30,000 in debt. You're not wallowing in the fact of, I've got to go buy bigger jeans because I've put on too much weight. Again, it's no, what was that thing that you said a couple episodes? The hardest step to take is the first step.
Yeah, getting that first step inside the gym, or taking the first step out the door. Once you got your walking shoes on or running shoes, that's the toughest hurdle. Once you're there, everything else is gravy.
Yep, and in gentle,
low fat gravy.
But no, again, that's the continuous and gentle part. Okay,
right, and this is an investment in yourself, in your physical self.
Self-care is important, people.
So says AJ Barcet. Must be for real then.
So here's my next one.
Yes.
Smile and acknowledge the people around you.
Yeah.
We mope way too ding dong much around here. Frowns, scowls, ear pods in our ears and noses into our glass.
Yeah, to be able to acknowledge those that are around us, and I'm trying it. We go first. I'm a bit of an imposing figure as I approach people.
You are tall, dark, and handsome.
No, I'm actually tall, gray-haired, and pasty white-skinned.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
With glasses on now. But if there's a little bit of a pleasant smile, like, no, I'm not going to kill you, but also, hello, friend, hello, fellow human being.
Good morning.
That too. A smile, even if it's a demure Mona Lisa or Mona Larry smile, could be a very helpful way to be able to bring a small bit of happiness into some people's lives. Just to be able to say if someone's struggling as they're pushing a cart and walking a dog and trying to manage grocery bags, would you like some help? Yeah. That can also at least make a person feel like they're seen. Mm-hmm. That's kind of important.
Something a buddy of ours had taught me. Sup, Darren?
Yo, Darren.
He says morning. It doesn't matter if it's like 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
That is true.
Morning. Like, it's just great. Like, yeah. So
it's a greeting.
It is.
Also, you and I both have talked about it, you more so than me because I'm a bit of an urban dweller. Reconnect with nature.
Yes.
We talked about the forest
Mental
bathing,
north.
the mental north. Go back into the recent archives. We talk a lot about this. The Urban Hikers Grand Tour. We talk a lot about this. Whether or not you are in a landlocked miles of plains, of view, or if you are on a coastal state, or if you are in another country that doesn't have much.
There's always something. You can find something. Even downtown Paris has something.
Find water, find trees, find plants, find greenery, something that's natural.
Let time be and not be forced under urgency.
And AstroTurf does not count. So, but also another thing involving gratitude. Give thanks to anything that brightens our day and makes us feel alive. Depending on if you are a person of faith, that is giving thanks to your higher ups.
Yes, higher ups. The boss's boss.
I'm trying to be,
it's good. It's
cover
good.
all bases here.
Yes.
But to give thanks, it's like, hey, thank you for this wonderful chance that I got 3 green lights on my morning commute. That's something to give thanks for.
Exactly. I
appreciate that. It doesn't. I don't know if it makes you feel alive, but I mean, it kind of.
Well, it does when that person suddenly stops in front of me, and then I'm honk. Oh wait, no, I'm not giving thanks for that. Yeah. Sorry, Holly Street.
Okay, be nice. Give thanks for Holly Street, and if you go 27 miles an hour at a certain time during the day, you can hit all green lights. Yeah. That's a slingshot, as I refer to
it. That's a Bellinghamism.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, this last one, you might be able to speak to this better than me because I really don't do this because I'm a chess player. And I'm always thinking 3 or 4 chess moves ahead.
Yeah.
But living in the moment.
Yes.
Can you speak to that, AJ?
Well, this is why I became the analog explorer. Like, this is something that even as technologists, we have to step back, reconnect with nature, reevaluate what we do and how we do things. And again, it's one of those things where technology is a tool, and it isn't just a slot machine that's just giving us endorphins because that's what it's programmed to do. We don't have to take a photo of every dish that we see. We don't have to, if we're feeling lonely, flip our device over and look for hearts that we're going to double tap on photos on Instagram.
Or swiping right too.
Or swiping right or left or up or down or, swirls, whatever.
You get the point.
The thing is that if you look at Ikigai, we talked about getting around people, slowing down, finding the value in things. And living in the moment is that I think is going to be the trend of the Roaring 20s. Instead of the Roaring 20s, it's going to be living in the moment of the 20s.
And also, it could be a mindset that could take some time where what happened in the past.
It's happened.
It happened, and not to be callous and saying, what's done is done, but to be able to find a way to be able to go, you know what, that was in the past, that's in the rearview mirror, and not worry about what may be 5 miles up ahead.
The uncertainty
because, hey, oh, by the way, I'm going to go tech nerdy on you. Back in the early teens of this decade, iPhone had skeuomorphic design. Mm-hmm. Look how much we've come since then.
Dude, beyond skeuomorphic, Steve Jobs himself didn't want apps originally on the iPhone. It was the iPod with phone function.
Right. And so if we're thinking so far in the future that we're missing out on the joy of today, and the opportunities for today to do nice things with our families, with these friends in person.
Yes.
I'll say it again. In person. that is something that could be a missed opportunity that we might regret later as we have, well, I'm already there with the white hair, but to be able to, once you get up there in years, you might realize a lot of those years are spent pursuing something that wasn't appropriate.
I'll put a bow tie on this.
Please do.
Ikigai, like your life purpose should not be that to curate what other people think and look and view of you. You do you.
And then others will be able to see you and and those that appreciate you will be the ones that you want to invest in. Wow, that's zen.
It's zen.
That's awesome. So at the end of our show notes, we got a YouTube video.
Yeah,
link.
it's just a really good it's a TEDx YYC from Tim, and I'm going to probably mess up his name, so I apologize. Tamashiro?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Tamashiro-san.
Okay. So Tim Tamashiro. I love how you just slide that in.
Yeah, I've never met him, but full disclosure.
He was a CBC2. I can't remember. He was a radio guy. He also struck out. He decided to find his Ikigai. The call was to music, and so he produced albums and such. It's a really cool TEDx where he's got a great humor. If you think that Chris and I are funny, we're not. He actually is. It's a great watch. It's a fast watch. And there's a link in the show notes.
Kampai. Let's wrap this up.
That wraps it up for this 100 and, believe it or not, 18th edition of the Bellingham Podcast. Thank you again so much for listening to us, rating us, reviewing us, wherever you like to get your podcast. Remember, if you're in the Bellingham area, you might be listening to us on
community-powered KMRE 102.3 FM
and streaming on kmre.org. From the city by that Salish sea, arigato gozaimasu, I'm AJ Barce.
And from the Salish Sea by that streaming city, I'm Chris Powell. Thanks once again for joining us on the Bellingham Podcast. I thought I'd invert that for a little while just to mess with you.
I dig it. Yin and yang, right?
I'm more yang, and I think you're more yin.